Some discussions I want to have with you and emerging from the field. I tell you some things about the struggles between activists and organizers. And are there struggles embodied by actors, or are they logics? And to what tend these movements and the movements you are studying at the end of these tensions? And finally, which place of the individual in the self-collective determination, and more, what margins to the individual to change the ends within the collectives? Thank you for your attention.
Questions, please.
Thank you for your presentation. My name is Numa. I live in Buenos Aires, and we are trying to develop a project. The project is a time-based exchange system, not a time bank, or it would be more like a cooperative and self-employed people exchanging based on time. And it is full of, the design of the system is wants to be independent from the state and from the market economy. So we have been many years thinking about the design and about the organization. So I can recognize ourselves very well in your analysis, and it makes me laugh because most of us are on the ideal side and not on the pragmatic side so far. But we are feeling frustrated because we have not even a single transaction has happened yet. So we see limitations, and we need to find the balance. And from your analysis and your study, do you come with any recommendation to find a balance with between pragmatism and idealism, or can you see paths to conciliate in some ways?
Yeah, I don't have the answers. And I don't think my PhD work will be to have an answers to these questions. I study three collectives: an hackerspace, an occupation, and the local currency. And for example, in the hackerspace, people are intertwining activism values and will of organizing just by doing. Say, okay, if we make some discussions around what we have to do, there is always debate, and we do not go away this debate. But all the things are resolved just by doing, and by doing we make some intertwining things. I don't know if that's okay. But that's my real question. To what tend these movements? Because for Lagrange it's been 5 years, and Lagrange is still not launched. So do we have to continue to wish an utopia or make a concrete one? I think the actors are intertwining all these things.
Hello, thank you for your interesting presentation. But while I was hearing your presentation, I was wondering, isn't it a sort of false dichotomy between activism and organizing? Since I think the pragmatic part of your actors that you studied they also have an ideal. In fact, they want to be pragmatic. So it's maybe a struggle of ideals. And so they need to sort out as a group, I think, how they can find a common ideal. And maybe they won't find a common ideal. So maybe they lost 4 years because they were occupied in this discussion and not seeing that they are actually maybe having a different agenda. And maybe if they would have focused on finding a common agenda and accepting their different agendas, making this mutual agenda, which has priorities from both agendas, they would have been a step further. I was wondering if you also take that into your research, because now you're very focused on what their perception is, which is very interesting, I think. But it would be also interesting to sort of, as I felt that you do action research, maybe it would be interesting to also start the discussion with them if their framing of their internal problem is the right framing.
Two things. I agree with you when you talk about the dichotomy, and that's the question I ask at the end. Is there struggles are embodied by actors? And I think there is some moments, like the last speech, or the pragmatism are embodied within one person. But I agree with you when you say that it's just moments and it's way of thinking. About the common idea, I more agree with the concept of heterotopia of Michel Foucault, when he talked that heterotopia is a plurality of visions, and you don't have to make just one idea, just put it all together. That's my answers.
Hi, my name's Alice. I run Berkshires in the Massachusetts, and I wondered about, this is beyond what your scope is maybe, but what about the people who might adopt this currency? Because it won't ever happen if there aren't any people who take the currency outside of the activist community. So I wonder if maybe once they start using the currency, that might come into your research.
Yeah. That's the real question who answers 1% of the collective. Say there are plenty of local currency now in France. I think there are 13 projects. There is 4,000 in all the world. We do not need another local currency. And when people say we do not want to play monopoly if it's doing the same things but at local scales, so we want to work with responsible providers, organic providers, doing in a democratic way without local authorities' funds. But it doesn't work. So what we do, and I think people have made their choice in this case.
I would argue from our experience that it's really good to just go and do it.
Yeah.
Because the educational value of putting it into practice and then letting everybody in the area accept it if they want to and not making any rules.
Yeah.
That actually pays off because you end up educating, the regular supermarket that isn't organic or anything.
Yeah.
They might actually be interested in the currency, and if they take it, then is that actually a bad thing?
Yeah.
Because then they would be starting to move towards the local.
Yeah, I agree with you. But in this kind of movement, there are two visions of what an alternative should be. And the one who say we do not have to work with local authorities, it's from the citizens. The one who say no, we have to be more inclusive, and all these things struggles. I don't have any opinions of that. Yeah, thank you.
One more question.
My question is, do you think the scheme has not started only because of that problem you were stating about competing ideals, or there were other factors intervening? Maybe they all agree on the ideals, but it didn't work because of other questions.
Maybe there is lots of factors, but I heard so many times that people say we have to launch one currency. I seen that, for example, in La Graine, they say we could not launch the currency if we do not have 600 users and 60 providers, because there is no fund found from the local authorities, and we have to be independent. And these things, the people we called activists say we have to do that before the launch, and it's holding back the launch, and I think that's one of the reasons.
Okay, I think if somebody has an urgent question, otherwise I would close the session. Or is there anyone? No.
Thank you very much.
Then thank you.